looked at my state of Maryland and saw so many people with recent roots in Africa, so many businesses with recent roots in Africa, that here we will develop opportunity for job growth here in Maryland, as well as moving forward on goals of America to help develop economies on the continent of Africa. So let me just give you one example of that partnership. Recently, the White House acknowledged Mr. Siva, who has Ethiopian roots, who started a company in Maryland, Montgomery County, Maryland, called Blessed Coffee. I've had their coffee. It's very good. I promote it. I'll go out and buy some. Because let me tell you what you're doing when you're buying that coffee, Blessed Coffee. You're helping create jobs in the United States of America, and we need jobs. But that partnership includes Ethiopia in building schools, in clean water for the people of Ethiopia, a health clinic. All benefit from the partnership that was established by Blessed Coffee here in Montgomery County, Maryland, with the country of Ethiopia. That makes sense. That's helping Administrator Shaw and his mission. It's helping economic growth, and it's helping in America's humanitarian mission.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I come to the floor today as the founder and co-chair of the Congressional Ethiopian American Caucus. This caucus was established to give a legislative voice to the specific concerns of the Ethiopian American community. Founded in 2001, the caucus is comprised of members who appreciate the critical relationship between Ethiopia and the U.S. and value the contributions of Ethiopian Americans to our nation. Congressman John Garamendi and I co-chair this caucus of nearly 20 members of Congress. President Obama's upcoming visit to Ethiopia on July 27th, which is next Monday, will be the very first visit to this nation of 97 million people by a sitting American president. Ethiopia has Africa's second largest population and is a nation with a rich, independent cultural history. And by the way, Ethiopia is the only African country in that continent that has not been ever colonized. It is a country of growing economic, humanitarian, and strategic importance to the United States. With a base of young entrepreneurs, a large labor force, and a wealth of natural resources, Ethiopia has quickly become an important center of industry, agriculture, and technology. We must explore avenues for U.S. investment and partnerships with Ethiopia to further this growing economic partnership. Here at home, Ethiopians in the U.S. provide us with a large pool of talent, education, experience. If we are to draw lessons from U.S. relations with China, Vietnam, and India, we can see that engagement is an important tool in bringing about sustainable change. The U.S. and Ethiopian governments must work closely to engage private business and Ethiopians in the diaspora. If we have learned anything about Ethiopia and Ethiopians, it is to never discount their capacity for genius and resolve in the interest of their country and fellow countrymen. I visited Ethiopia in 2005, and I left the country a changed man. So U.S. businesses and entrepreneurs also have a strong role to play in Ethiopia. Organizations like the U.S. Africa Diaspora Business Council focus on tapping into the large entrepreneurial Ethiopian and African diaspora populations in the U.S. They help provide information, build capacity, and development infrastructure to assist American companies to build business footprint in Ethiopia and develop trade between U.S. and Africa. I would like to particularly highlight the budding benefit corporation that are producing a positive impact on society and the environment, as well as making a profit. Ethiopian diaspora-owned company, Blessed Coffee, the nation's second benefit corporation, is established as a socially responsible business focusing on trade in coffee-growing regions as well as in communities in the U.S. where coffee is sold. A symbiotic relationship will be one that not only benefits the American consumer, but also the farmers in Ethiopia and development of the region. And on a side note, I'm not sure that it's well known, but according to DNA analysis, all coffee came from Ethiopia.
Hi, Martin O'Malley. We are here in Tacoma Park. We're one of the very first corporation Bs, that is, a benefits corporation, has been opened, and it is Blessed Coffee, creating connections not only in community, but also connections with farmers in Ethiopia. It's a corporation that looks at not only the bottom line of profit, but also the bottom line of social responsibility. And it's an exciting day. People are very pumped up, and we're here on one of the greatest main streets in the United States of America, Tacoma Park Main Street. Thanks.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations on all your success with Blessed Coffee. And even more importantly, the model that you use for Blessed Coffee, creating a beneficial corporation that does well by doing good, focusing on doing social good in our community, and working with cooperatives in Ethiopia and farmers to make sure that as they grow the coffee that ends up in the coffee cups in places like Tacoma Park, Maryland, that they're also being treated with dignity and able to make money in the growing process. And it's a great model, this model that you've developed, and I know you're working to expand the circle in the U.S. Africa Diaspora Effort Council, and I want to do everything we can to help you build this circle so that we can have more and more people become economically empowered in both the United States and our communities here, as well as in places like Ethiopia and through Africa. We want to make sure that as we build up economic opportunity, that we have shared prosperity, and really that's what we need to do more of in both the United States as well as throughout Africa and the world.
My fellow brothers and sisters in my African diaspora community, you are the backbone of our audacity, and thank you for making time to come here.
Yes, this is an audacious idea in the very best way. Right?
Yes.
And we really want to make sure that it grows and prospers, and we have to do everything we can to support it. So the beneficial corporations for Africa model works for everybody here in American communities as well as in communities throughout Africa. What you're doing is proof of just how repulsive and ignorant they were.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Karen Bass. I'm the lead Democrat on the House Subcommittee on Africa, and I want to welcome you to the first U.S. Africa Diaspora Business Forum. I have to tell you that the role that the diaspora plays in the United States and on the continent of Africa is so critical. I have had the opportunity now to visit numerous countries on the continent, and I've met with, for example, in Ethiopia. I was there last month. I met with Ethiopian Americans who had gone back to their home country and started businesses. I think this is a wonderful example of how the diaspora can play such a critical role. I also want to ask for your assistance as we work to reauthorize AGOA, the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, which expires next year, and it's the primary trade agreement between the United States and the continent. I would sure like to ask for your help and support. We need for you to come to the Hill and give the examples of how you are creating not just business opportunities here in the United States, but also in your home countries. I want to congratulate the leadership today, and I want to thank you for your participation, and hopefully next year I can join you. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Congressman Chris Van Hollen, and I'm delighted to extend greetings to everybody attending today's U.S. African Diaspora Forum. The African economy is quickly becoming an important economic force. 7 of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world are in African countries. As a result, the growing middle class throughout Africa is creating an expanding market for products from the United States and other parts of the world. which presents a great opportunity for American businesses. At the same time, the U.S. African diaspora community and its economic presence in Maryland, the metro area, and throughout the nation is becoming increasingly integrated into our local and national economies. Our African diaspora community can provide vital trade and investment links between our economy and the growing African economy. The connections you make today and the opportunities that may arise for public and private partnerships will bring important economic and cultural benefits to our state, the region, and the nation. I wish you all a productive and instructive forum and look forward to your continuing contributions to our community and our country. Thank you and best wishes.
I'm very pleased to welcome all those attending the U.S. Diaspora Business Forum here in Montgomery County, Maryland. I believe that Montgomery County's diversity is one of our greatest strengths in our world-class school system, in our communities, and in our business sector. In fact, Montgomery County is a magnet for talented and energetic people from all around the world. I value very much the contributions that our African immigrants have made to this county and to this region. You bring a culture and zest for learning and advancement that strengthens not only your own families and communities, but also the county as a whole. Thank you for all that you have done and will continue to do. Have a great meeting, and let us continue to work closely together.
Distinguished Ranking Member Ben Cardin for his comments, and again, we look forward to a great hearing.
Well, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for convening this hearing. I am looking forward to hearing from our witnesses, and I agree with your assessment that we can always do things better. And in development assistance, we very much depend upon our partnerships with the private sector, and I'm anxious to hear how we can be more effective in leveraging activities in the private sector. Before that, I want to acknowledge some special guests that are in the audience for today's hearing. Tabalu Asafi and his wife, Sarah Musi, are founders of Blessed Coffee, a diaspora small business and benefit corporation based in Tacoma Park, Maryland, just a few miles north of the Capitol, and I just want to acknowledge them. Blessed Coffee employs a holistic approach to development, supporting schools and clinics, and providing training and investment opportunities to benefit the communities of 300,000 small coffee growers organized under the Oromia Coffee Farmers Cooperative Union in Ethiopia. I have visited their community here and have seen their approach, and I must tell you I'm very proud of what the diaspora community has done in building opportunity here in Maryland, but also giving hope for entrepreneurship in Ethiopia. So I just really wanted to acknowledge that and thank them for their leadership in our community. Maryland was in fact the first state in the nation to incorporate benefit corporations in 2010. Today, more than 30 states have followed suit. So I'm very proud to have Tabalu and Sarah as constituents, and I'm even more proud of the example they are setting for social responsibility business practices. I know as members of the Maryland's large Ethiopian diaspora community, they are proud to invest in the coffee farming communities in Ethiopia. I wish you all the best as you continue your venture.
Actually, I'm going to go in the back, this gentleman right here.
Your Excellency, it's a great honor for me to have the opportunity to address you. Thank you to the Atlantic Council. My name is Tababu Asafa. I'm an immigrant, resident of the United States from Ethiopia originally, but I finished high school in Kenya, so Kenya raised me. So part of me is a Kenyan. I'm going to pose my question on twofold. First, the African immigrant community in the U.S. is very vibrant. We're close to 5 million currently with second and third generation. Even though we're doing good in the U.S., we have affiliation to Africa. We want to matter in Africa. Currently, the current US-Africa policy is Prosper Africa, two-way engagement for mutual benefit. It means a lot to me. When I hear a conversation about US-Africa partnership, it's always Americans doing business in Africa. What about me raising African business in the US? Because significant part of our problem is the marginalization of our presence in the global market. Me and my wife and my two friends, my wife, my few friends, have for the last 15 years developed a new international trade geared toward development we call Benefit Cooperation for Africa. Benefit Cooperation for Africa. In that context, I've given 400,000 small coffee farmers in Ethiopia an opportunity to invest $6 so they take a significant part of the business on this side. I would like to do the same for Tanzanian tea growers. The question is, what is your government going to do to allow African diaspora to come play a role in growing African business on this side? Thank you, and I'm sorry for the long question.
Okay. I think the first question was growing African business in the United States. We would be more than happy to work and to collaborate with our African diaspora who are doing business in here, especially those who wish to set up, as the example that you have given, industries or businesses that are geared towards the promotion of African products into the United States. I hear what you're doing for coffee farmers in Ethiopia. We have in Minnesota some Kenyans who live there who are also doing the same for African coffee, out there as well. So we would be more than happy. You understand this market better than we do. You understand the African continent. We would be more than willing to partner and work together to help you grow your businesses, because by growing your businesses, you're also helping us grow our trade with the United States and supporting our farmers in the same process. So it's something that we'd be keen on.
I think today's event was wonderful, honoring Blessed Coffee as a benefit corporation and understanding the full ramifications of what that designation means, and it's going to be a great way to create good jobs and return benefits to the community.
The purpose of B-Lab's existence is to use the power of business to solve social and environmental problems. One of those is to change the corporate structure in America to allow companies to think beyond profit, not just at the expense of profit, but in addition to profit, think about society and the environment. And that required a legal change, and Maryland was the first state to do that.
Blessed Coffee is a great local business. It's going to help us create jobs, boost our local state economies. But it's also a force for good, not only here in Tacoma Park, not only here in Maryland, but also connecting us to Tababu's native Ethiopia.
Benefit corporations, I think, can be not only important for each job that they create. I mean, in this endeavor, I know Tababu hopes to create about 20 jobs. But it's also important as a magnet for investors who are looking for socially responsible corporations in which to invest.
It's really good for the farmers as well as for him and as well as for our country.
Understand the historic importance of this. And look around you, look at what Tababu's put together, the people who've already been hired on for this international/local business. This is what economic recovery looks like.
For me, it's a dream come true in terms of the launch of a benefit corporation, a corporation that's for profit, that's going to make money, that's going to be prosperous, but it's also going to reinvest in the community and have social priorities to go along with it.
I am because we are. I come from a culture that emphasizes community and the vitality of each and every member of the community. So to me, connecting the two communities and being the bridge to connect the two communities through cultural promotion and economical engagement for community development, for cultural promotion, for economical wealth creation. It's just an amazing journey.
I'm very proud that Maryland was the first one to have this designation and that Tacoma Park has the first businesses in Maryland.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the White House. And for those of you viewing online, welcome as well. My name's Aaron Hannigan, and I work in the Office of Public Engagement here at the White House. I wanted to be the first to welcome all of you and especially thank all of our champions of change who we're here to honor today, who are leaders in American diaspora communities. And if we can start with a round of applause, that would be great.
Next is Tababu Asafa. You could tell from the horn by the way I say the words. So he founded Blessed Coffee, blessed indeed, and he's also an organizer, a community organizer. I actually had the pleasure of attending an African festival that you did in Silver Spring, which was quite impressive. So if you could tell us a little bit about the social enterprise, Blessed Coffee, and your other activities in the region, please.
All right. Thank you, nice telling. First, a correction. Chris said, referred to me as doctor. It's more of a prediction. When I get old and wise, I hope to join the Council of the Elders, and the diaspora community would recognize my struggle and my journey. It will give me an honorary doctorate. Okay. All right.
Anybody who can bless coffee is called a doctor.
There you go. All right, I'd like to thank the State Department and the White House. Initially, I was kind of shy about being honored because the culture I come from humbles me. But when I looked into it, it's all about not necessarily giving us the 15-minute fame, as they say, but connecting us to the resources, providing a platform for us so that our aspirations, our dream will be supported and will be successful, and others will follow. So that's exactly where I was so excited about it. And so thank you for this opportunity. We really, personally, I appreciate the administration's effort to recognize my humanity, my relevance, my story, because I am an American, but I come from an Africa. I belong to two worlds. I come from an ancient, cradle civilization with a lot of humanity, spirituality, and untapped energy, and I belong to a country called, a continent called North America, with vitality and youth. And if we can combine the two, wow, there is hope for humanity. And as we see hope out of this global crisis, as America reclaims her position as a global leader, I tell you, if we can tap into the vitality of the U.S., the enormous resilience and power with that untapped resource, not only the resource in terms of the human capacity in Africa, definitely Africa and America would lead the way in partnership with Africa, and I'm going to dedicate my life to make sure that we're given the opportunity to do so. With that, this is a book I'm reading. Africa is rising, and the time is here, and the people are here, and some of you over there, and some of us. It's a collective journey to me, and my story is very simple. Before I tell you my story, I left at a young age. I lived in 5 countries and traveled to 8 more. One thing that I've seen repeatedly, the African story has never been told. Our humanity has been dehumanized, our story has been compromised, and that is because we, for the most part, have not had the opportunity to tell it. And as I aspire to present a story, an African story in the marketplace here, an open market for the thriving African entrepreneurs and businesses and growers and farmers, first and foremost, we have to get the platform to tell our comprehensive humanity, and we are much more than the crisis. The crisis that we hear in the West is only one narrow narrative. There's a whole spectrum to that, and I'd like to contribute whatever I can in making sure that African story is given the opportunity to articulate its humanity. If we do so before market, there has to be a relationship. Now, by default, if we get an elegant space to communicate our humanity and tell our story, automatically, by default, we're creating a market to share. So what I want to do is, by promoting African humanity and history and culture in this vibrant place we call home, I'd like to open an opportunity for the farmers and the growers in Africa to have an opportunity to compete and invest. I think the aid has to stop, and trade has to be given an opportunity, and sustainable trade is the only way out. In my case, in Blessed Coffee, as you know, Blessed Coffee, in the Ethiopian coffee ceremony, the third cup is called Blessed. That's when community, before it departs, stands together. The elders give blessing and advice and prayer, collective prayer is conducted. Baraka, blessed. So to symbolize that collective existence, to symbolize the importance of we as we try to survive as I've called my venture Blessed Coffee. And Blessed Coffee tries to aspires to connect 200,000 small coffee farmers in Ethiopia who labor from sunrise to sundown, a fair opportunity in this marketplace. And guess what? I've asked the union in Ethiopia, ultimately when my model is fully developed, I've asked the farmers to contribute $3 of coffee per year for 3 years to own a very good chunk of my business. 200,000 small coffee farmers in Ethiopia contributing $3 of coffee for 3 years is $1.8 million, half of the money that I need to put my model. So I would like to give the farmers an opportunity. In fact, jokingly, in a forum, I have the privilege of sitting, I live in Maryland, and I sit on the Governance Commission for African Affairs and an economic forum the governor organized to see the new hope for the state of Maryland. My voice was, Mr. Governor, if we give the Ethiopian farmer an opportunity to compete and invest in this market, not only he can better his life, he can also help us create jobs. And my model, I wonder, this is maybe Africa rising and the timing is perfect. I live in a state where the state has enacted a new law called Benefit Corporation. It's a new business incorporation law that provides for people who aspire to do good things as opposed to make profit an opportunity to do so. My Blessed Coffee is a second entity to be incorporated as one. And my model, I'm going to say this publicly, 50% of the profit from the wholesale we aspire to give back to the farmers in the coffee growing region to help them in their social program. And 50% of the profit from the retail we plan to give it to 15 organizations where I live in Takoma Park, Silver Spring, producing tremendous amount of public good, from PTA to homeless shelter, food, and the art. And at the end, if I give my partner farmers an opportunity to invest and compete in this market, not only they can better their lives, they can also multiple the field trip my kids sitting in there would have. So this is a wonderful opportunity. In conclusion, I'd like to recognize Congressman Bobby Rush, who came up with a new law called U.S.-Africa Trade. U.S.-Africa Trade. So with that, I am thankful for the opportunity. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to this wonderful, self-defining, purposeful journey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Today in Ethiopia, from villages in rural areas to neighborhoods and big cities, people get together daily in coffee ceremonies where green coffee is roasted, ground, and brewed 3 times. After the last brew is shared, and before the circle breaks out, elders will conduct a prayer and give blessings for the well-being of the community. This has been the culture and tradition of coffee in its birthplace, Ethiopia, for thousands of years. We're sharing this ancient and rich culture to tell you our story. The story of Blessed Coffee, a socially responsible business and trade geared towards development in coffee-growing regions as well as in communities in the U.S. where the coffee is sold. Our story began in 2002 in Washington, D.C., when my husband and partner, Tibabu, met Taddese Meskala. Taddese is the founder and manager of the 240,000-member Small Coffee Farmers Cooperative Union in Ethiopia. The global coffee market is the second highest traded commodity next to oil. In this market, ultra-premium coffee beans are taken from small farmers at pennies on the dollar, then mixed into large batches with cheap plantation-produced coffee, branded and labeled as a fancy blend by wholesalers, retailers, and fancy coffee shops. In this profit-driven market, farmers who contribute 90% of the work only get 1% of the retail price. With this meager share, farmers struggle to make a living and cannot afford to eat a decent meal and send their kids to school. Instead of cursing the darkness, we wanted to light a candle, and so we created Blessed Coffee. Blessed Coffee is based on the philosophy, from the farmer to your cup. It provides farmers an investment opportunity and dynamic access to profit. We call our social business model virtuous exchange, more than fair trade. This new system of trade is based on the idea of giving everyone involved a fair share. Since the inauguration of Blessed Coffee in 2011, we have shared our story at community events, colleges, and sustainable forums and meetings. We have sampled and sold our ultra-premium and single-origin coffee selections at farmers markets, festivals, co-op stores, and small cafes and restaurants. In just 2 years, we've come a long way. Today, Blessed Coffee enjoys massive community support built one cup and conversation at a time. We have earned valuable recognition and endorsements from policymakers and received broad media coverage. Our story is reaching across the nation and beyond. We are grateful for this recognition and community love. It is with a strong sense of accomplishment, on the occasion of our 3rd anniversary, we launched Brewing Change, a funding campaign developed to support Blessed Coffee in raising the necessary capital to open its first cafe and roasting facility. We believe not only in the power of Blessed Coffee, but that virtuous exchange will lead the way towards a new breed of business that has a positive impact in the community it serves. Please visit our website and blog to learn more about Blessed Coffee and support our campaign.
But I've been also really proud that I introduced the first benefit corporation law in America.
Good. Can you give me a quick brief, what made that necessary? What motivated you to, it's a very pioneering legislation.
Yeah, I mean, the basic framework in corporate law is either you're a for-profit corporation, a business corporation, or you're a not-for-profit, you're a 501c3, and you're a charitable organization or educational. And basically, we introduced a new corporate form, which is you're for-profit. You're making money and it's for business, but you build into the charter of the company, you build into the DNA of the company a public purpose along with the money-making purpose. And so it might be to promote economic and educational development in Ethiopia and America, in your case of Blessed Coffee, or it might be to promote animal welfare and animal rescue, which is the case with the Big Bad Wolf, which is another constituent that became a benefit corporation. It might be to rescue a local river that's been polluted. Whatever it is, you put in the chartering documents of your company that you're working to make money in a certain field, but also to improve society.
I remember one time you were talking about when C Corp was initially conceived. It was conceived for a particular project or purpose.
Yes.
And given a short lifetime for the purpose of accomplishing that properly good, and it was supposed to be dissolved.
That's right.
And somehow they've managed to keep it going. Can you share a few points?
There were very few corporations when America first started, and those that existed were on a short leash. They were really controlled, so there would be a corporation set up to build a bridge or to build roads, and they got a specific governmental charter to do it, and then when that economic purpose was satisfied, then the corporation would go away. But already at the beginning, there were businesses and banks that were pushing for unlimited open-ended charters. Thomas Jefferson was very opposed to that, and he said, if we do that, these corporations will get so large and so wealthy that they will come to devour the government.
Wow.
So obviously we've gotten away from that idea of corporations on a short leash, and they are, corporations can now operate for any lawful purpose, which is the way
they're considered to be human beings.
And they're now being treated
the crisis that we have
as human beings. So we have to figure out a way to go back to an older model, and the benefit corporation might be the pathway back where they are money-making, but they also have a social conscience built into it.
Good.
Much of the focus in the summit has been on the U.S. investment in Africa. How about the other way around, bringing trade to the U.S. for many countries. But one startup is trying to change all of that. I'm talking about the taste of Ethiopia, trying to one of life's bare necessities with a cup of coffee.
When I first went to the coffee growing region, when I first saw the farmers' product, I saw it there, and I remember holding and smelling coffee, and I had said to myself, someday I will smell this on the other end once I establish the business.
Coffee has transformed Tababo Asafa's life. He and his wife import beans from their native Ethiopia to roast and give Americans a taste of what they consider the purest brew around. Tibabu fled civil war to settle in the United States. But Ethiopian coffee and its special communal brewing rituals drew him back with a plan: export the beans and give indigenous farmers a better deal.
It's amazing how humanity responds to this beverage. It makes you sit, it makes you share, it makes you open up your heart, it inspires you, and it creates a community bonding experience.
Working from home in Maryland, the couple set up a benefit corporation. It has a duty to maximize returns while delivering social benefits. Half of the profits go to a network of 250,000 farmers and suppliers, more than they could expect through conventional export channels.
At the beginning, it was hard to explain to others. It's not non-profit. It's business that's social good.
The finished beans sold farmers markets and Behurktiv.
More than 7,000 miles from its origins, this coffee is on sale with a host of other organic coffee brands. And at up to $18 a bag, it's definitely aimed at high-end consumers.
And likely to remain a niche product, Ethiopian coffee represents just 6% of US imports.
Thank you for
Yes.